Hey everybody, welcome to this, my album review of Genesis Invisible Touch. Now, I was a Genesis fan before this came out, before they sort of went commercial, as they say, in the 80s. This is an interesting album, though. I have some comments to make about it. I just bought it, and of course, I knew all the radio hits. But I never bought it. I think that was one of the reasons why I probably didn't want to buy it, is because there were so many hits on it, and it was a bit unusual for a Genesis album to have so many hits in my mind. To me, for a progressive rock band, the ideal kind of setup, if you really want to stick to being progressive, is to have maybe one song or maybe two songs on the album that are kind of more commercial, and the thought behind that is, to me as a songwriter, would be to have an open arm and say, hey, come on, check us out, we're a prog rock band. Here's a couple of songs that are more easy to digest and are fun, and sort of like they're like welcome carpets or an open door, like check us out. And then people come to the band and they discover more about progressive rock and what it stands for, which to me is exploration and adventure in music, and sort of breaking out of conventions and typical stereotypes kind of songwriting. I respect people who write songs because they're always after the perfect 3-minute song, right? And the perfect verse versus chorus, perfect chorus, or whatever. That's all fine and dandy, but progressive rock is very different. It's all about exploring your instrument too as part of the band, or maybe even your voice, or lyrically in concepts or something like that. But I think it's forgivable when an album has a hit. But if there's too many hits on it, it diminishes the progressiveness of an album. For example, this album has, let's see, Invisible Touch, massive hit, okay? Tonight, 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 big hit. Land of Confusion, a hit too, but interesting. Then you've got Into Deep. It sounds like it was taken right out of a Phil Collins solo album. It's very un-Genesis-y. It's not like I hate singles and hits and stuff like that. But Into Deep has some nice guitar work by Michael Rutherford, which is an enjoyable aspect to it. And it has a bridge. Listen to the bridge in Into Deep. The bridge is very Genesis. It's funny, It's like suddenly, it's not a Phil Collins solo song. Suddenly Genesis is back for the bridge. But then it goes back to the rest of the song, and it completely sounds like a Phil Collins solo album song. By the way, I'm going to review some of his solo albums because I've just been picking up some of his CDs and have some thoughts on his solo work. Some of it's great, actually. So there you go. You got side one, all hits, 4 songs, and Land of Confusion is the only single kind of a hit song that is kind of progressive and cool, that I liked it a lot myself personally. If I were in Genesis, of course, this would be considered probably financial suicide. But I would say, you know what? The only song that would be good to keep is Land of Confusion. Save those other songs for Phil Collins solo albums. Save those other songs for future albums, perhaps. If you have an album where you've written lots of really experimental material and you kind of need that hit, well, there you got it. You got it in your back pocket. You got it in your file. You've got Tonight Tonight. You've got Invisible Touch. Pull them out. Reinterpret them in a few years from now for another album. So it's just very mind-boggling in a way that such progenitors of amazing progressive rock. These guys were like, they were there at the very conception of prog rock, exploring and setting out the example of what real progressive rock, classic progressive rock, really is. So now let's move on to side 2. So side 2 starts with Anything She Does. So I got excited when it came to side 2 because I have not heard anything beside the hits, which is actually a majority of the album, maybe half of the album. So it's sort of fun to sort of see, what was Genesis doing besides these hits? And Anything She Does was an interesting tune. Definitely one of the more cool tunes in the album. It's interesting, it's upbeat, it's more unique. The verse is really interesting, and then the chorus is kind of more mundane, which is sort of the reverse of what you'd think. But actually, I thought that was cool. I think that's kind of really brilliant because as a songwriter in this planet, you're always thinking the chorus has to have the big hook. The verse is sort of like a companion to the chorus, but it's not the highlight of the song. Whereas they wrote this song on the first song side to Anything She Does, where the verse is the most unique and interesting part, and then the chorus is a pedestrian 2-chord chorus, meek and mild and unexciting compared to the verse. I thought that's really brilliant. Then you got Domino. Oops. Domino is a 2-part song. Again, it has that sort of exciting, fun feeling to it that which to me is all what Genesis is all about. There's some very interesting chorus turns. There's a cool use of the Fairlight, very strong chorus. I like it a lot. The drums are nice. There's a welcome slow section too, which there's not. Well, there is some slow songs, I guess. One of the hits, Into Deep, is a sort of a slow song. So even though Domino is a really cool 2-parter song, it does finish a little bit slightly weak. It didn't finish off as strongly as I think it should have. Yes, Throwing It All Away. Again, another massive hit. I do like the guitar work on Throwing It All Away. It has a unique feel, but again, it's there's a certain fatigue that I get when I hear songs that have been on the radio a million times, and one of them is Throwing It All Away by Genesis. So there's that fatigue factor. All in all, they are great songs. You can't deny that. And then you finish off side 2, The Brazilian, which is another tune that was completely new to me. I'd never heard, and it's quite epic. It's an instrumental. Thank God they put an instrumental on this album, at least one. And it's got an amazing, strong super chorus, and it has some great guitar at the end. Again, some good solo work by Mike Rutherford I enjoyed at the end. Some bit of a screaming guitar going on, which is very welcome. We needed more of that on this album. You know, the song's very percussive, as a lot of the songs in this album are, using kind of weird sounds and things as a percussive instrument and trigger, and it sounded pretty cool. The band, I'm sure, are grateful that I wasn't the producer of the album, because I've got a lot of my own ideas about what they should scrap. Not necessarily scrap. Like I say, I think Land of Confusion they should have kept as their single. Maybe one other, Tonight as a single or something. But the other ones that came off, like Into Deep, Throwing It All Away, I mean, those songs are just such huge radio hits. I think they could have just stashed them away and used them on another album and just say, you know what, those are great songs, but let's not make this an album of hits. I mean, is that really what Genesis is about? Let's get more exploratory, save those for later, because, you know, you might need them. But anyways, you know, money talks, like they say. So Genesis, Invisible Touch. So I really think it's a cool album. If you like the big hits that Genesis came out with in the 80s, definitely get it. If you are curious about some of the songs that are not hits, there's some good stuff. You know, the Brazilian is cool. The Domino Part 1 and 2 is pretty cool. You know, I still love Land of Confusion. That's one song I never get tired of. There's no fatigue factor in that song. Well, even Tonight, there's a bit of a fatigue factor. Invisible Touch, maybe a slight less issue with that one. So there you go. That's the album for me. It's really a mixed album. If you're a completist, as I seem to be becoming as far as Genesis, I do enjoy having all of the Genesis albums. As far as it's a slice of history, even if it went in directions which I would have preferred they hadn't gone so strongly, but that's fine. It's an interesting album cover too. It's embossed. These are lifting up here. The texture going on inside. It came with the lyrics and a cute picture of Phil leaning up to Mike and Tony there. I mean, the graphics are cool, and they're also not cool. Look at the colors. Oh. And I do like this hand. As I say, it's textured. You can actually feel the raised bumps and stuff. I don't get what this is about. It sort of looks like this family here, a man, a woman, 2 children, you know, a boy, a girl. I don't know why the graphic artist decided to put that in there. I thought that's kind of weird. If anyone has any insights on that, let me know. And if you have your own opinion on this album, which I'm sure you do, we all do, leave it down below. For me, this is it's a pretty strong song as far as singles, but as far as progressive content, it's There's not a lot there, but there's enough there that if you pick it up at a garage sale or something, absolutely go for it. I wouldn't pay like $30 for a reissue or something. No way. There's just not enough content for that. So that's my album review. I've got a playlist there of other album reviews, and I'm going to be doing quite a few more over time. So off you go. Go and commit some acts of listening. Talk to you all later. It's Dean. Bye.